Biggest fan of this franchise that I knew, my grandmother. It was her #1 favorite movie of all time, and she allowed me to watch it with her when I was like 9 years old. It scared me to death, so thanks for scarring me, Mama. I love you. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Leatherface is back after 50 years, and today we're talking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Is this movie worth watching on Netflix? I need you in the comments down below, and if you like this video, be sure to drop that thumbs up. Let's get into it. After nearly 50 years of hiding, Leatherface returns to terrorize a group of idealistic young friends who accidentally disrupt his carefully shielded world in a remote Texas town. Like always, let's start with the rating for this movie, and clearly, don't have to say it, it's a hard R, lots of blood and gore, and not a film for the kids unless you like my grandma. Again, she scarred me. I do want to talk about the writers and director really quick. Chris Thomas Devlin wrote the screenplay. David Blue Garcia, who I'm not very familiar with, competently, I will say, directed this film. And Fede Alvarez, who I love from Don't Breathe fame. I was super excited to see his hand in this, just helped with the story. Didn't direct, which is disappointing, but a few things had me excited. Then the cast, our main trio of sorts, there are four, but you have someone like Sarah Yarkin, Elsie Fisher from 8th grade, Jacob Latimore, who I really like, and that crew of young and up-and-coming social media-loving individuals are going to this small Texas town to bring their ideas and ideals to a place that doesn't really want them there, not encouraging their presence. Not only are they coming, but they're bringing literally a busload of people to a place where they probably shouldn't be, and a lot of them find that out. Now, of course, at the beginning, one of our not very soft-spoken teens has to make fun of someone that they inevitably have to work with in the town, so that immediately creates bad blood. But there's even more bad blood when the fallout happens with an older lady where she is evicted from her building of sorts. And there is where we are introduced to Leatherface for the first time in, again, 50 years, bringing back this character in the vein of Halloween and bringing back the franchise like a Saw. And, well, I mean, we've seen countless versions of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Can you do something new, something different for once? And I will say off the bat, this movie does nothing new. It does nothing different. We've seen this film countless times before, and even though, like I said, there are some competent scenes, and I'll get into what I actually liked about the movie here in a second, the idea of it feeling fresh or stylistic, that's not the word to use here. Now, maybe some fans are okay with that, and they like the fact that it focuses on what Leatherface, I guess, is considered to be now, and that is someone out for blood, and I mean as much blood as a fan of this genre could want. If that's what you're looking for, you're going to get that out of this film. And again, I got entertainment from that. The scenes where he's just chopping people, it's chopping, it's not an axe. Sawing people down, wrong franchise, but man, that was super entertaining. And I'm sitting back going, you know, all these morons, y'all were a little smarter, you wouldn't be here right now. But guess what? A lot of people in this movie, they're dumb. Making dumb decisions constantly, consistently. And what is a good slasher film without some dumb decisions? But when I say everyone, I mean literally almost every single character. They get themselves at a point into a situation where you could just stand up and run. Because this dude's not catching you. Or one of the most visually spectacular scenes in the entire movie is when he takes the chainsaw on a bus, and there's a lot of people on there. And when the massacre is happening, I won't spoil how or why, but a lot of people are just kind of standing around live streaming it instead of running. And I get it, you don't want to go near the chainsaw, but there's like 15 people surround. Just do what they did in the new Halloween movie. Just find an object and just start beating them with it. No one does anything. Everyone just stands around, get pushed up against the glass. No one fights back. Everybody's just, I mean, is everybody that weak? Now, inevitably, we have characters that attempt to fight back. But prior to that point, there are so many situations I'm just like, he squatted on the ground 10 feet away from you. Stand up and run. Like, get out of there. You just witnessed someone's face get chopped in half. Why aren't you saying anything? You just walk and sit down, just like twiddling your And again, we get things like that in movies like this. So it's nothing new, but it just felt like there was 3 times what we normally get in this movie, and it frustrated me from a writing standpoint and from a character likability standpoint. It's hard to root for characters that are this dumb. It just is. Austin, what did you like about the film? Well, my big positive is, again, the way that he's able to bring about these gore-filled scenes. I don't like the fact that Leatherface was so strategic. At least that's what it felt like, right? Because Leatherface has never really been that character, and it felt like they were trying to make him that character after all this time, and that's a lot of time to realize that maybe you can formulate some things, so I'm not holding it entirely against them, but I'm more of a sporadic Leatherface type of guy, but he is brutal, maybe more brutal than we have seen him in a long time, and the brutality of it all was great. Again, I didn't really care about any of the main characters or those relationships because they weren't set up all that well. I guess Elsie Fisher was the one because she was more of the quiet character, but for the most part, when he's mowing them down and giving us what slasher fans are asking for, those are the moments where I said, okay, some creativity. And again, the fact that those are filmed in a way that allows us to see that. But then I come back to the idea of, I guess these filmmakers just trying to make Leatherface more like Michael Myers and trying to get something new out of a character, but not getting anything new out of a story that feels rehashed and recycled. I mean, just the idea of these kids coming into this town. Now, a very different reason, of course. I was still just kind of foggy on what they were trying to do in the first place. I know 2 of them are chefs, and there's some sort of mission or goal or something. Who cares? You see, while the film makes an effort to get you to gravitate towards those characters, I was never truly emotionally attached. I think the writing from that standpoint could have used some work, absolutely. And then you go to moments like, there's a vehicle like 10 feet away from Leatherface, but when we cut immediately to the inside of the vehicle, his chainsaw hits it. Either that man can teleport or he has super speed. Something's going on. It's the editing, or it's just in continuity. And I don't want to be the guy who sits here and nitpicks a movie trying to bring back a franchise and successfully doing a couple of things, but for the most part, the story gets in the way of its success. The characters get in the way of its success, and the only standout from it, the blood and gore, is something we can just watch in other movies. So before I give you my score, was this entertaining enough? Because the entertainment is there for you all. If you like this review, be sure to drop your thumbs up. Plenty more to come. I will be seeing The Batman very soon, while not without its bloody fun scenes, and a lot of them. This attempt at a revitalization doesn't have the story or characters to back it up. Unfortunately, there is nothing new here. My score is a 40%. Did Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix 2022 work for you? There's a lot to that. Is this a franchise that needs one more revitalization, or was this it for you? Can we just start anew? We've done that too. I need you guys leaving your thoughts down below. Appreciate it big time. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. Space Force Season 2 and Dog